I was so annoyed when I moved there in my last place. I think we had like damp or something. I had quite a few hats, and the brim of the hats, like, oh, they were fucked, man. I had a hat from Canada, and it was I can't think of the name, but the national team for the hockey league over there, and it was snakeskin on the peak.
Yeah.
Oh, bruv, it was sick. I used to wear that for years, and it got ruined.
Oh, yo.
Yeah, it got ruined when I moved, man. So I was just so annoyed with that. But yo, hold tight, Napoleon again. My man's sick. He ended up adding me on my PlayStation account earlier on. I turned my PlayStation account up and it said Napoleon FC, so I knew who it was straight away. I was like, "Wow, my man's bloody everywhere, bro." But yeah, now big up to him because
He's a real G.
he's been
He's like always one of the first people to share it as well. Every time.
yeah, bro. My man's on point because the second I view the video, I look back at it. I seen a couple of like people commenting and whatnot, and then I look straight on Twitter and he's already shared it, and I was just like, do you know, that's a beautiful thing when like things go like that. How's your day been anyway?
Yeah, man. I can't complain still. What's your day been like?
Not too bad, man. I know. Where is it? Let's see if I can find it for a second. I know you're not into it anymore, but this like card I pulled earlier on, I bought from a pack which cost me £2. That card's worth like £60, so I was gassed because I haven't opened like cards in time. But yeah, it was good. But I'll be honest, man. Apart from just getting smashed by rain all day, I just been motoring on today. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie, I got soaked earlier.
Is it proper bad down by where you are?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, my dad's had flooding and everything like around where they are because it's a rural village, but it's quite low down, like geometry wise. So because of that, like loads of areas have been getting flooded and stuff because it's all like farm like land and stuff like round by where they are and that. So it's mad, this one. But I was looking back over the footage from yesterday. Do you know what? I say this this is a good thing actually. I say this every time that we record an episode. I always end up saying like, "Oh, that was my favorite episode." But that conversation of them three, which was about an hour and a half, I think in total. Bro, that's a very deep conversation, man. That's trust. I had to take that in again. Like I had to rewatch that and take that back in, but. Yeah, that was a brilliant conversation, bro. We got into some real good points. Like obviously we spoke about me, we spoke about you as well. I was gonna ask you as well. Well, obviously, like I've had a busy day. You've had a busy day as well. With these episodes, what I want to do, I think we should have a day. Well, not a day, but like sometime where we go back and we look over, say 1 to 5, and start to give them names. Because I wanted to call like the first one maybe like I don't know. Like obviously still the flip side of coins part 1, but then in brackets like the introduction to coins or something like that, or like
You want to say a little more, man?
you know what I mean?
Do that.
Yeah.
That's cold.
But obviously I wanted to speak to you before I name each one because I feel like each episode kind of has its own vibe, even though we don't always stay on subject of what we're talking about and we end up spiraling off and talking about mad different things and whatnot. I feel like at some points in certain episodes, like one of them, I want to not title it Wiley, but there was one of them we had a good talk about like the industry or something like that. Like I want to give them key point names and stuff like that, just so that people have a bit more what's the word? A bit more insight before they even view it, if you know what I mean. Because like if you've already seen all of them, sorry, and if you want to go, if you've already seen all of them, you want to go back and you want to show your brethren, you're like, where's the bit where they were talking about Rare Tear Tear? I mean, they can go, part 5, this one. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I don't know. I always do that with everything that I do, man. Like, I always go back, look at things, review things. And that's how I find you make things better is, like, if you look at everything that you're doing and then, like, add more into it and stuff, it just makes it a bit more.
100.
So, yeah, that was something I was thinking about doing today. Funny enough, I got to go town on Saturday for you. I've got to go buy some more memory cards because I filled my memory. I filled this again. I filled another memory card and I need to go get some more memory cards so I've got some more footage because I need to mess about with my settings because these have been coming out as 30-minute interval videos and I think if I get a larger memory card they won't be like that. I'll be able to do longer. It's good. It's been good anyway because obviously we've been able to split them into parts, but the only reason they've ended up being 30 minutes has been because of the camera cutting out, because as you've seen, every time that we start doing these, we don't ever say like, oh, we'll film from this time to this time sort of thing. It's just, oh, we have a conversation and it just flows in concession and it just goes as much as it does. So yeah, I gotta pop in the town on the weekend to do that. But I was gonna ask you, with obviously like, well, this is a question. It's quite annoying. After we got off the phone, this popped into my head. Do you think that COVID has impacted how you make music? Like, for example, you told me you had to get a home studio, and so how, like, in a good way or a bad way, do you feel like COVID has impacted your music in any way?
My guy Greg, let me think, yeah. It's been a good way and a bad way still, because ideally I will go to the studio and I'll let someone like Speak World or someone like that mix me down, do you know what I'm trying to say? But in a positive sense, like I said, you know what I mean? Like, I gathered up some P's and I bought myself my own little basic setup, but it allows me to lay down music, do you know what I'm trying to say? And share my ideas. People are saying that the quality is alright. I know.
Bro, the quality is good, fam. Because put it this way, for example, yeah, you met James now when I brought him here the other day. He's listened to all of your songs, as I have. He uses the setup that you've got. I haven't seen it, but from when I've seen your mic and stuff, and I've shown him your videos, like, obviously he knows a lot about technology, and he even said to me, he goes, he uses a similar setup to me, and he creates good beats, and you make sick music, fam. So at the same time, like, it's not always down to having like a £12,000 speaker setup and this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's cool and it's glossy, but if you know what you're doing and you're techie, fam, you don't need all of that. Like, same with Secrets. As I showed you last time, I can't remember, that just reminded me of a part of an episode that we did when I showed you that mic, and Secrets used the same mic to, like, trust, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, once you know what you're doing and you know how to operate the equipment. So when did you learn actually to do production? Because I'll be honest with you, even though I don't MC anymore, but when I did used to MC, I never, like, some people never stemmed down doing the producer thing as well, or doing, I know you did DJing back in the day. So was that from when you were doing DJing? Was that just like, oh, you thought I'll pick up producing at the same time just so I can, you know what I mean?
Literally, when I got this little setup, it come with a program called Studio One. So that comes with the interface, yeah?
Yep.
So that's the program that I have to record on. So if I'm going to record, I have to learn the program, innit?
Yeah.
Somehow, or learn the basics, innit? So I just went on YouTube, and there's like very basic tutorials of like people telling you how to use the basic stuff, innit? So once I knew the basics and I started playing with it, yeah, every day I learned something new. I'm not going to lie. I like it still. I think that's why producers like producing, because you know what I mean, there's bare settings and bare different clicks, and it can change your voice and all these little things, you know what I mean? So
I've seen it with James, man, when he said to me, when he's come here and he's been like, oh, I got this new sample pack, and he's so gassed, and it's just like, literally just like, it's just like drum patterns or whatever it is. But then I know with him, he'll use that to lace a beat to make sense, and trust, and he can just like, and same with you, obviously, like when you learn things and stuff like that. So if you were gonna say for people who are like up and coming MCs or artists and stuff like that, do you reckon that they should learn to produce themselves and mix themselves and try and do everything? 100%. Yeah, because I was gonna say, because
like right now I'm trying to learn the beats, but I'm predominantly trying to learn how to mix first. Do you know what I'm saying? Because obviously I'm trying to write my bars, I'm trying to record myself, and then I'm trying to make beats. I'm trying to be a dad. It's a bit much.
Yeah,
you know
of course.
So I'm just trying to
moderation,
the recording side, and then I'm gonna make some beats. But I think, look, there's a lot of people with bare money, cause you might be trapping, you might just have bare money. Like, instead of investing in drip, why don't you invest in a little basic studio for your house? That's not to say don't get drip after that, but once you've got the studio now, you can record bare things, and even if you don't like how you mix, you see that the stems and the WAV files, the WAV files, should I say, you can send it to bare people. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then they can mix it for you, cause all you gotta do is record it. You know what I mean?
I think you gotta have that drive though, fam. I think you gotta have that drive to wanna do everything. Cause I'll be honest, like when I did music with me, I didn't wanna do the production side or anything like that. I'm a writer in a sense, if you know what I mean. Like that means more to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I've sat there with people and watched them make beats from scratch. I've watched people do like put a dub plate together and like all that sort of stuff, and I completely respect it highly. But to me, it's kind of like how some people would look at I do YouTube and they're like, when I understand algorithms and stuff, like if I show you some of the stuff I look at, trust, like it's like a foreign language to some people. I get how it works to some people. With me, I can just like I just have an ability to write because I feel like I've always got something to say. But on that side of it, I'm not gonna lie, I was never really like, oh yeah, I need to like do that. But I think with my situation, like our group was kind of structured where I had a producer, a DJ, a guy who did like all the graphic sort of stuff, and I was just like MC, if you know what I mean. So I get what you're saying, but in this climate as well, especially if you're not signed and you're a smaller artist or you're an independent or whatever your situation may be, yeah, I would push that as well. I would promote people to do it themselves. Plus, it's a sense of ownership as well, because like the music industry sometimes can be a dark place where like I know people that have gone to studios and not got their mix back and.
You know, it's mad that you say that, bro, because there's tunes that I've done I ain't even got the tunes, and they're at certain studios. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Trust, I
it's
made.
Mad. So at least when you record it in your own house, like you say, you kind of got.
You own it. Yeah. Unless you have like, not that bond, but unless you have that connection with like the producer or something. Like for example, I work with people like very close to me, so like if I don't own a lot of the tunes that I've done, but if I want them, all I gotta do is call my friend and just be like, yo, send me that, and he's just like, yeah, you made it, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna keep it from you sort of thing. But yeah, having ownership of your own music and your own sound or whatnot is a big thing, because plus you also as well will make alterations that other people won't necessarily make, because you, even though like your producer obviously understands your sound, if you're your own producer, you understand your sound better than anyone else, because you hear when you're making mistakes. Like obviously someone who is musically trained can hear when you make mistakes, but you get what I mean, like how you critique yourself more, so I believe the outcome of the song will be better if you make it yourself, because you'll be like, nah, you're gonna be way more critical of it, so it might take longer. Yeah, that's what I mean. But
I hear that. But I think though, really and truly, if you're artist, yeah, as much as I'm saying like try to get your little basic setup, nowadays, yeah, you need to have a producer around you. You need to have like links to proper studios. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because in them places, in other environments, you still learn. You know what I mean? You're gonna learn off the producer, then you can come back home and you can use it in what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can't always just learn off yourself. You have to be around other people. Like I learn off you sometimes when you say certain things.
Yeah,
you know
it's I learn off you all the time.
Other people. Yeah, man.
And to be fair, I think that comes down to like one thing I've been predominantly trying to say like throughout this whole thing is networking and connecting, because this is essentially what we're doing right here. Started off with just two people naturally connecting, you know what I mean, and then from then, like I consider you as a friend now. You know what I mean? We talk on a daily basis. You know what I mean? It's more than just like, oh, we do a podcast. You know what I mean? Like I speak to you about real things and whatever else. You know what I mean? So at the same time, that always comes down to networking, and I believe like regardless of what your field is in, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not an MC anymore. I'm technically in like, I don't know, YouTube or entertainment or whatever I'd be classed as, but through networking, social media, Twitter, and getting myself out there just like how you have, because you're technically self-employed because you make money through music and that's your employment in a sense, you know what I mean? So same as what I'm doing, even though I have a job on the side as well, it's an employment. If you're going to become a business, you're going to become a brand, whatever you're going to do in life, you have to have social skills. You have to be able to communicate and converse with people, because otherwise, like one thing I really hate, which is quite funny actually, because I'm not a millennial because of my age, but we are in the age of where, like how me and you talk a lot of the time, like on Twitter and stuff like that. Like one thing that annoys me with all these apps is there's no tone. And what I mean by tone is like how, like I get it, you can put emojis like, oh, this is fire, this is that. But before that, and some people don't always use emojis. I don't like it when people send a long text that you could kind of just talk to me and say, because through a text, sometimes information gets lost in how something is written. And my grammar, this is the funniest thing. I am very adequate at talking, but my grammar is atrocious. Like how I write is I don't write how I talk. You know what I mean? But when I write, I've had people say to me on Twitter like, "Oh, did you mean this when you said this?" I'm like, "No, I made like a spelling error," or "No, I didn't say it in that tone. I was actually saying it in an endearing way or some." You know what I mean? So I always find like conversations with people is something that needs to happen more, and just like creative minds need to be around each other more. But then that's why youth centers and youth clubs, they need to have a lot more money put into them. So like, you know what I mean, kids have got places to go so that they don't do foolishness. Not they don't do foolishness, but like, you know, if you got an outlet, like when I like put it this way, for me to get to a studio when I was young, like that was mad hard. Like we were recording on phones. We were like, you know what I mean? Like before you've got links and you know actually initially know someone. Like when I got links, it was different. But before I got links, like, you know what I mean, it was like recording on phones and stuff, and like little bits and pieces like that. But then it's having, I think like in the UK they should put a lot more money into looking after like the youth, because obviously the next generation are what essentially continues on. If you know what I mean?
No, it's real.
And I don't feel like they just, I don't know. I just don't feel like society does that enough. There isn't enough. There isn't a sense of a community. So I find like a lot of kids are kind of lost in that sense of not having enough, or certain areas, like if they're, you know, they got a lot of money in that area, may have things, but it needs to be more widespread. But I don't know. That's always, that was always something like that was an issue. Like from where I was when I was younger, trying to do music, was like to try and get in studios. There was like 2 or 3 studios you could use. Otherwise, most studios wouldn't take you in just because of your age, and because like, oh, they don't want to do that sort of music. Like a funny story actually. No, sorry, not the first time I recorded. One of the first times I recorded in Cardiff, I recorded in the same studio. I know exactly where it is. It's still there today. Do you know Doctor Who, right? You probably remember, yeah. So obviously it's a big massive thing in Wales. It's been going for like 50, 60 years or whatever. I don't watch it, but I went into the studio and they had the Daleks, the Cybermen and all that. And this is the same TV studio that they used to record the sound effects for the TV show. And that's where we recorded, I think like the first like TPC mixtape that we did like when we were like 14, 15 years old. I just remember walking in and there was like a massive Dalek and whatever else. And I was like, what sort of studio is this? I'm like, oh, it's a TV studio. So I was expecting to see like a presenting desk or something. And walk in there, it's like a proper studio, got all these props up. And I was like, what's this for? I'm like, oh, you know all the sound effects that are on Doctor Who? We record the sound effects in. So basically they film the show, then they edit the sound effects in. And it was actually a cool little insight into like how TV works. I didn't realize TV was like that. I thought TV was just like filmed. I didn't realize that they edit it in sound effects and, you know, whatnot, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that was like the first time I went to a studio, was like actually a TV studio, not a proper studio that was meant for that. So they didn't deal with us like we were artists. They dealt with us like we were kids, obviously. You know what I mean? So, and that was a long-winded process, because we did it, and after we did it, like obviously my friends know about music and whatnot. They're like, oh, have you bounced it? And they're like, oh no, that's extra. And we're like, what? And they're like trying to charge us extra to get it bounced, and then they're trying to charge us for like the CDs and. Yeah, trust, man. They were like, and at the time we were like kids, and it's just like you trying to like rob 3 black kids. You know what I mean? Like for what, like 50, 60 quid.
People that still do that nowadays, fam, that'd be like £20 to record the song, an extra something to get the mix down. Do you know what I mean? But it's a hustle, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, man.
It's a hustle. If you can make money, then you're gonna make it however you can, innit?
Yeah, of course. But this is what I mean. But obviously that was like young times of me first starting to do music, so I didn't understand it like that, you know what I mean? But then I get it, man. Everyone's gonna make their money somewhere else, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was just a very weird, like that was a weird studio to record in, because it just wasn't set up to be like a recording studio for like artists, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it was a weird studio setup that we had to deal with that day. But yeah, it was one of them learning curves anyway, you know what I mean? But
no, I hear that.
with your setup, did you have to buy soundproofing and like I don't like how do you?
No, I literally don't. Yeah, I've got the mic and the pop shield, and then I bought just the one, bro. One second, let me see if I can show you. One second. Just the one flipping. Look,
Oh yeah.
That's the one.
Damn.
And I just put it behind the mic, innit?
That's good.
Nothing too fancy, fam.
Nah,
Nothing too fancy.
but like the quality wise, that's good to see that you should. Do you know what you should do one day when you're doing this self-recording thing yourself? Just vlog it. Like, leave your phone on, and just leave your phone on live stream. Even whether you're making a beat or you're editing your mix down or whatever it is, just record it and trust. I guarantee bare people will like that because it will show another side of you because they see the finished product version of you, if you know what I mean, where there's like the songs out and you're just like, oh yeah, hold tight, that tune you did the other day, Nightmare, you got me off guard with that one because you
like that one?
Yeah, no, it was sick, but you caught me off guard with it because you didn't tell me about it, you just dropped it and I was just like, oh shit, because I look back. Yeah, I know, that's what, yeah, but you know what times I'm up in it, so obviously I'm sat here rendering videos and shit and I just see this come up, I was like, what's he doing? Do you know what I mean? I clicked on it. I was like, oh, goddamn, bro. Yeah, fam. It was nice fun. But I was going to say was, yeah, if you maybe do a video or something sometime of you, like, I don't know, like, well, mixing down or DJing or whatever it is, or like you setting up to record, I reckon that'll get, like, and you, I don't know, like, I don't know, well, we call this the flip side of coins. You call it, like, the reverse side of coins, or I don't know, something like that. But, like, show, yeah, like it shows the aspect of you like before the finished product, and obviously because you've done this now, you're quite etiquette with how you talk. I reckon you could carry doing something like that, maybe into like incorporated it into your YouTube thing, because that would show like an aspect of everything else that you do to make the song. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people just think like when an artist makes a song, it's just I call my label, I go studio, my man mixes it, I wait a couple of days, it's done. Nah, you're in your house finding the beat or making the beat, you know what I mean, vocaling it, going back over it, doing your ad-libs, like, you know, going back over it, doing doubles if you're doing doubling up on your mixing, whatever you're doing, adding effects. You know what I mean? I know all the process that goes into making a tune. And it's a commendable talent to be able to do it yourself and to be able to do it at home. So I believe, like, bruv, sometimes you need to showcase yourself a bit more, fam, because you do a lot, bruv. You do a lot. I just don't like...
I know.
Trust.
But you know why I do it? Because it helps with my anxiety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously, when I'm staying stagnant, that's when
you think about too much shit, and then
you know what I mean?
Same with me.
Yeah.
Same with me, bruv. That's why when you said to me the other day, like, you're always doing something, like, I have to always continuously be doing something. I'm not working. Like, I'll be doing something with my partner. If I'm not doing something with my partner, I've got to do something with my channel. Otherwise, I check in on you guys, or like I'll ring my family, or I'll ring my brethren, or like I always have to constantly be doing things. Because if I stop doing stuff, obviously, like you know how I am to a certain extent. Like, it's hard for me to start again, if you know what I mean. So I have to constantly be in a state of moving momentum of like, okay, we like. When I wake up, the ball is rolling, and the ball don't stop rolling until like 30 minutes before I'm about to go to bed. You know what I mean? When I'm like, okay, I need to just relax now. Otherwise, yeah. But I have had people say to me like, oh, sometimes you need to chill out. But it's how you deal with things, and it's how you get on with things. But nah, man, you do a lot, bro. So big up you. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I was gonna say to you, music-wise, what has been what would be like your proudest achievement musically that you've done?
Musically, proudest achievement. Wow. You know what? Yeah. It might even be going to Tim Westwood with Young Ty. Still, that was a big moment. Still.
Nice. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that was kind of wavy. Still, obviously, we're my set in it, but I think because from young, I was working with Young Ty in it. So like we always had an agreement in it. We've always had this same agreement, and it's the same one till now. If I ever get a door or any opportunities, I'm gonna bring Ty through. And he's had the same agreement with me in it. And I think he's done a lot of things. But it's been like black boxes and but where he can't bring a man through. The first time he could bring someone through, he brought me, he brought Rick Flo, my brother called Mav Mizzy. When I did the Crib Systems, fam, that was kind of sick still, I'm not gonna lie. And the joke is, yeah, a lot of my bars got cut out. But it's what it was more, it was somebody who I see as a young artist. You get me? I gave them a bit of help. You know what I mean? Like with links, they took them, they've used it, and they've been able to get a flip session.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
thing. You know how
man.
that makes me feel?
That's a beautiful thing.
You know what I mean?
And big up him as well for being true to his word and bringing you obviously when you got the opportunity. So how was Tim Westwood, the big man himself, then? Because did you get to speak to him, or how was it?
Yeah, he was this, bro. You know what? Yeah, you see him, the same Tim Westwood, yeah, that you see on the interviews and how he portrays himself is how he's in real life. Hello, boy. Like, he's just like Tim, bro. It's mad. He's mad. He's a calm guy still. I'm not gonna lie.
That's mad, bro. That he actually was able to do that. I bet. So what was that? So with that whole situation, like, do they just film it once, or like how is it done?
You see the Tim, bro. I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Okay, well.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Fair enough. But
yeah, because of obviously it might be. I don't know. It might be a madness.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I don't know how it works, is it? So I'm not gonna say it still.
That's cool, man. But like I mean, I've seen.
When you go in that room and you go in the other room and you see all the records.
I'm gonna ask you off camera though. I ain't gonna lie.
It just feels mad, man. Feels mad. I'm not gonna lie.
Trust, that's sick, bro. I was gonna say.
But another time that was great as well. I'm not gonna lie. Was the Wiley performance that was sick. Like I said, fam, I wasn't even meant to be spitting with Wiley. Imagine we spat on Wiley. Couple man got pull ups. I got a pull up. Next thing, the little thing's done, and we're spitting in the next room. Wiley's probably gone home, fam. But you get me? As a young grime artist at the time.
Of course.
He
It's
was
Wiley.
I was looking for, aspiring to be. You know what I'm saying?
And
like, even till now, he's that guy, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Forever, man, forever. Like I'm still annoyed with that whole situation, man, of him not having any social media and them trying to with the whole YouTube channel. Plus, I found out something as well the other day. Obviously, I have an Android, and with Android, how you can buy music, there's a thing called Google Music, which is it's basically like iTunes. It's the exact same thing. It's just their version of it. I typed in Wiley, and a lot of these tunes have gone, just randomly gone, and like some of them weren't even like. They were like pop tunes, like Heatwave and Wearing My Rolex and what was that other one? Do you know what? Yeah, this is my favourite mainstream Wiley tune. Do you remember Electric Boogaloo? The beat on that, bro. That beat on that. No, I actually quite used to like take that as well, you know. But then when it got rinsed, when like everyone was playing it, because there was like bare electric little remixes of that, because it had that little like sort of. But yeah, no. Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. How they were kind of like trying to blackball him and push him out in that sense. Oh yeah, how I was gonna ask you. Obviously, I sent you a video yesterday. Like, can't thank my missus because she was the one who showed me. What did you think of that documentary?
I felt sorry for the woman, bro, in the sense where she has to like do things to make
that
her
was
feel
sad,
like,
bro.
She can move forward. Do you get me? Like, for me, that's mad.
Yeah, when they was, and then how they took the thing with Beyonce out of context, because she said she's yellow bone, so they were all trying to, like, they wanted that skin color, and with that guy as well, and it turned out there was mercury inside the cream, and he was like, oh, I'm not gonna stop using it, and I was like, I felt bad for him. No, I felt bad for him at the same time, like when that guy was crying about like how he was bullied in that private school and stuff. But it's like, fam, why? It literally was echoing the sentiments of what we were saying in the podcast, literally like half an hour previously, of being proud of who you are and being proud of yourself. I literally was just watching it, just like, I feel bad for you, but I can't relate because I've never felt like, oh, I need to get a cream and look a certain skin color, you know what I mean? Like, I've been proud of what I am. Like, if anything, I think the only thing I thought when I was younger, because my dad is really dark, was like, oh, how come I'm not as dark as my dad? But my mum's skin complexion is pretty much the same skin complexion of what mine is now, if you know what I mean. But I don't know, man. It was just one of them things where I watched it and I was just kind of just shocked that there's a whole industry of that sort of like creams and everything being sold like £86 a tub, and it was some crazy madness, I'm not gonna lie, but
it's a business, isn't it? It's a business. If people know that people will spend mad money to change the color of their skin, then they will. Like, you gotta think, yeah. There's light women, like light skin, very light skin, like white people, whatever, that go and get tanning to make themselves darker.